Good evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Be present here with joyfulness and gratitude and with very positive tune of your mind to know that listening and reflecting on Dharma itself is one of the 10 Dharma activities. And if your contemplation and understanding and all those can greatly complement them to aid to the greater insight of the teachings. So for the benefit of all sentient beings, with this intention we're going to engage in the Dharma discourse of the topic we have at hand. But before that we will renew our awareness of the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha in our lives, and how much saner we can become, we can improve, and therefore we should always turn to the triple gem for refuge, not for other things, because they're not valid. When you turn to correct objects of refuge, then you will never be disappointed. And that is your realization of the Dharmas, not some books or place or some things. They can add to it, but mainly it's your meditation, your daily listening and comprehension of these teachings, and understanding of these, that you get it, and you get the teaching so well that you have refuge in the Dharma. You don't take refuge in aggression, retaliation, and all this stuff. That is the Dharma. And your friendship and fellowship with all the people like here, and your Sanghas, and really value them and support each other, and that is very important. So we're renewing the refuge in that. Ultimately, of course, we are seeking refuge in the enlightenment of our mind through our Dharma practice by our own helpfulness as an inner Sangha within us. We have to be the Sangha we expect in others. We shouldn't expect others to do it for us so much. They keep inspiring us. We don't have to do anything. That kind of over-dependence was never the idea of Buddha's teaching on refuge and the Sangha. Sure, we need slightly senior or more knowledgeable, more disciplined and more kind practitioners that can inspire us. But what if that is people looking that in us? So, refuge in the triple gem. And then if we have these three, then we will find ourselves practicing loving kindness to others, and never mind what they appear to us or does to us or doesn't do towards us, we still have loving kindness towards them. You will really discover this. Then you realize But if you're still doing enmity for enmity, blame for blame, and meanness for meanness, you have no loving kindness. You can say, may all living beings have loving kindness, have happiness. But in the meantime, you can't even make the one next to you happy, but you couldn't even do anything for them. Even that is so mean and so calculative. And no. They really need us to do that. But yet we are not willing. We think one is too much. Because that will make them more happy, but we are refusing to do that. See? You can say prayers, may all living beings have happiness, or cause of happiness. But we really have to have loving kindness with the immediate people that we encounter. And same goes with compassion. When they are suffering, when they're difficult, when they are going through their own situation, we often very judgmental. We throw stones at them. We think they're not good enough to be among us, and incredible judgment. That's not compassion at all. Giving few changes people on the road is not compassion. That's getting you rid of your changes. Real compassion is when someone who is really have their karmic patch of difficulties, and then we see that they are facing the brunt of their force of karma, and then show compassion to them and not judge them, not think, I wish they didn't do this, with this, were like that. So prayer to practice compassion is really important, and we need to bear heed to that. When you do those two together, loving kindness, compassion as your everyday way of life, whether you're sitting or walking or doing prayers or not, you will be really joyful. You have no fear, anxiety, because you're so joyful, because you don't harbor ill will towards anyone, including yourself. A lot of people are so unaccepting of themselves. They might be very polite towards others, in front of others, but towards them they're really harsh. And that's really hard for people to hear the teaching and not to do that. They don't realize the first person is the most important one, with whom we must be kind to. We must be forgiving to. No wonder why we can't practice forgiveness to the second person or third person, because we can't practice that with the first person. If we have these things happening, then there will be a lot of equanimity in ourselves. There's an incredible sense of contentment in the smallest things. You don't need big accomplishment to be happy. You don't get disappointment by anything, because they too are object of equanimity. So when we say these prayers at the very beginning, it looks like not something you just do at the beginning. It's like that's the teaching of how we should live all time. So during this session of teaching on 4 legs of mindfulness, you should just think of all these things and then listen on the background the teaching on the 4 legs of miracles. I'm going to teach like that in my mind. So I'm not going to go anywhere tonight. I'm just going to go in a text that I found to teach straight from on the topic. Okay, let's do the actual wording of this. In the Buddha Dharma Sanga Enlightenment, my virtue Ayendala Ashare Buddha Buddha Dharma Sanga Aitere Enlightenment my virtue Ajevandala Ajare Buddha Utuebe and Buddha Dharma Sanga Aitere Enlightenment by virtue Ajevandala Ajare Buddha Utuebe. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and cause of suffering. May they know apart from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and cause of suffering. May they know apart from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and cause of suffering. May they know apart from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. So now we're going to do the meditation on the Heart Sutra, which is on page 11 to read with us. Perfection of wisdom is beyond thought and expression, being reborn and unborn. Its nature is sky. I pay homage to the domain of discriminating self-awareness, the mother of victors of 3 times. Thus I have heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajgriha on Virtue's Peak, together with a great assembly of Sangas and great assembly of Bodhisattvas. At that time, Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi on the enumeration of the phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Superior Avalokiteshvara was contemplating on the meaning of profound perfection wisdom. He saw the 5 aggregates also empty of inherent existence. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Superior Avalokiteshvara, how should son or daughter of good lineage train who wishes to practice profound perfection wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the Bodhisattva, the Mahasattva Superior Avalokiteshvara, said this to Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, whatever son or daughter of good lineage wishes to practice profound perfection of wisdom should view in this way. They should correctly view those 5 aggregates as empty of inherent existence. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling and discrimination, composition of factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, in the same way, all phenomena are merely empty. They are without characteristic. They are not created. They do not cease. They are not impurity. They are not devoid of impurity. They do not decrease and increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition of factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element and so forth, up to mind element and up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance and so forth. There is no aging and death, no exhaustion of aging and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they depend on and abide on the perfection of wisdom. Because their mind is without obstruction, they are without fear. Having completed the path beyond all error, they go to the completion nirvana. All Buddhas abide in the 3 jhanas. Having relied upon the perfection of wisdom, they became manifestly perfect Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Shariputra. Therefore, mantra of great perfection is the mantra of great knowledge, the mantra equal to the unequal, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering. Because it is not false, it should be known as the truth, the Paraprakshisa mantra. Dadyadam gade gade bara gade bara zanga de bodhizo, dadyadam gade gade bara gade bara zanga de bodhizo, dadyadam gade gade bara gade bara zanga de bodhizo, dadyadam gade gade bara zanga de bodhizo, dadyadam gade gade bara gade bara zanga de bodhizo, dadyadam gade gade bara Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Diatam Gadenga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Diatam Gadenga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Danga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo, the Diatam Gadenga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhazo. Shariputra, a bodhisattva Mahasatva, should train the profound perfection in that way. Then should Blessed One arose from the Samadhi and said, the Bodhisattva Mahasatva Superavalokiteshvara, well done, well done, well done. One of good lineage is just so. One of good lineage is like that. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught. Even the Tathagatas will rejoice in it. The Blessed One has speaking so spoke, and Venerable Shariputra, Bodhisattva Mahasatva Superavalokiteshvara, and all that are gathered in there, and those the worlds, gods, humans, demigods, Gandhara was filled with admiration, practiced the words of Blessed One. So we are looking at the teaching on the 37 factors of path to enlightenment, which has 7 groups. We have covered the first 2 groups. That's the first is for foundation or for close placement of mindfulness. Often translated as for foundation of mindfulness, but it's a loose translation. Actual translation is for close placement of mindfulness, meaning you are paying your attention very closely, closely placing your attention to the body for what actually is, what the feeling is. And what the thought is, what the phenomena is. When you don't play close placement, you have this distant, you have a remote attention to what body is self, or body is beautiful or tall or something. When you really closely pay attention to cell by cell, tissue by tissue, then you realize there isn't anything whatsoever. So the word close placement, nyawar shakpa in Tibetan, tempa nyawar shakpa. Nyawar is a really not just close placement, I mean closely placing. Closely, the nyawar is an adverb of manner. So closely placing your mind on the nature of the body, closely placing your attention on the nature of feelings. And they are not real, they are transient, they are impermanent, they are unsatisfactory. Closely placing your attention to your mind and thoughts, that all your thoughts are like an illusion. They're not as real as you thought they were. You're grappling, you're holding your thoughts about someone or something as if that is true, and you're suffering from it so much. But you have no idea how mistakenly holding you think that is. You have never looked at close attention. That is your neurosis of someone. It's not what they are. That's your thought about them. It's not them. Your thought are illusion. So closely placing attention to phenomena means the phenomena are merely labeled by us and imputed by us. It's not something independently exists from itself. So that's why closely placing your mindfulness to, because people are not Tibetan speakers or Sanskrit speakers, often we are not able to explain the actual language of the topics or titles closely, and the second topic we covered last week is the for right effort or for renunciations. So that's a little bit easier in terms of understanding. Anyway, now tonight we're coming to the third group of the third group. First three groups are all four each. Interesting. This is deliberate. If you look at all the 37 factors, they are listed groups of four. Three groups of four first, then two groups of five twice, and then one group of seven, then one group of 8. So the number also goes gradually from lesser number to the more and more and so on. Not only that, within the groups of three threes, of which two groups we covered. Today's group is called 4 Legs of Miracles. So each of the four groups has a what do you call graduation from the first 4 to the second 4, and then the last 4. So tonight one is called 4 Legs of Miracle. Zuntrulye Gangbashi. In Tibetan, the miraculous leg, 4 miraculous leg. They loosely translate in the other most Buddhist tradition 4 bases. They regard them as a base, or the leg is the base, really. Why they use the word miracle is that once you acquire these 4 qualities, then it gives you a good foundation, good base to stand on. Or it gives you 4 new legs that you never had even one of them before. So when you have these 4 legs of miracle, it is the additional level that very few people reach. Like now, say we are all non-legged person. We are crippled person. Yeah. We are not mobile. We have no legs. But once you enter on the path of the advanced path of accumulation, then you start acquiring these 4 qualities. For instance, when you acquire these qualities, you start developing various supernatural abilities that is not within the reach of ordinary people. They know what is the cause and condition for happiness. They know the cause and condition of suffering. They can stop the cause and condition of suffering, and they know the cause and condition of happiness, and they have this incredible feat. Now, this feat is not feet, but F-E-A-T. Maybe I can say feet of feet. 4 feet of extraordinary feet. Play with language. Definitely, the word miracle is like a feat, isn't it? Because it is the person who has legs can come and go, and he's fit to do, have power to reach to places and come around and do like that. When you acquire these 4 meditative qualities, you too will have the ability to reach to other shore of samsara, which is the supermundane level, which is nirvana, and because of that, you have the ability to manifestly have the power to achieve those transcendental qualities, and therefore being able to empower and reach to many places and empower others to go to many places, because they are all now given legs. Until now, all the sentient beings are stranded because they have no legs. All these crippled people. We say the Tibetan in Sanskrit, the word Buddha is the chief among the biped. Because chief among the biped is most people, all the people have 2 feet, but they don't walk anywhere. They're just oscillating, going round and round and round, go nowhere. But Buddha is the one who actually walks and who can walk the talk, so to speak, because he had the real fit leg. His legs are fit, fit to go, have these qualities. Therefore, Buddha speaks to the monks. He says, "Oh, venerables," says one who has the meditative concentration of, for instance, determination, or for that matter, for joyous effort, and so on, and they have the base, or they have the leg to perform miracles. We're not talking about miracles mainly just to delight of other people, showing spectacles. We're talking about being able to uproot the cause of sufferings and create the causes of happiness incredibly magically, that no one seems to be able to do that. For instance, what it means is that you have the fitness to know suffering as suffering. You know the emptiness as emptiness, impermanence as impermanence, and no self as no self. And you're so, you have this, for instance, you have this first feet of the four legs. First leg is the leg of what we call the strong determination. You're so determined to know that the life is suffering. You don't complain about suffering when you have this leg. When you have this first leg, knowing that samsara is suffering, you never complain about suffering. Full stop. Why? Because you actually got a leg, for instance, to know that it is suffering. You're so determined to accept and admit, and therefore you are not mourning and groaning about your suffering or other people who have problems. Why? You are fit with this leg of miracles. Other people are always complaining about sufferings. You have this incredible determination to meditate on impermanence. You know everything is impermanent, and you have this incredible fitness to know everything is permanent, so what the hell you're talking about type of thing. It's a miraculous, really. Others think that's the end of the world, but the person thinks, no, everything is changeable. So what are you talking about? So your determination is so able. It enables you to so much to meditate on the four seals of Dharma with great sense of determination, and there is so much faith, because word determination is maybe not so much adequate. It's almost like so much faith in the four seals of Dharma that you totally believe in them and you live them. If something terrible has happened, you don't say it's terrible. You say that's life. And it is. It is. Because life is like that. Life is all unsatisfactory. You do this, it will please 2, upset 4 others. You do this way, please 20, upset 60 people. So what the hell are you talking about? Sentient beings never can be pleased by doing one or another. There's a nature of unsatisfactoriness. So you have this feet to walk. You don't get broken leg again when suffering hits you. You actually have this. These all come from meditation, If your meditation is good, this is advanced path of accumulation. Remember, you have to be relatively advanced to realize this and have this realization. Then you feel completely legged. Before that, you were amputee. All these amputees, all these amputees everywhere. Yeah. I mean, we try to give 4 legs tonight to all these amputees. If you can remember these 4 seals of Dharma and how it's such a determination, And with such forthright effort, where it talks about last week, this. When we talk about the four legs of miracle, you have to expect the first 8 already up your sleeves. 4 close placement of mindfulness plus forthright effort. That therefore enables you to have advanced path of accumulation, to remember that everything is impermanent when they are impermanent, and so you don't moan and groan at all. You just grin and accept that with great sense of humility and understanding. That's the miracle. Buddha didn't show miracles therefore he didn't have to show miracles. He's producing everybody able to do that. He's fixing all these amputees' problem. Why does he have to show and fly himself? In Buddhism, these are real miracles. One shouldn't... Miracle of mindfulness, they call it. You're so much changing in your attitude that you are no longer complaining about the sufferings, all the impermanence, but you have the right effort. You previously have the terrible lack of effort. You wouldn't correct your mistakes. You would still pick up more mistakes. You wouldn't want to try pick up any virtues, and let alone building those you have already. Now you're completely changing through the 4 right efforts. Because of the 4 closely placed mindfulness, and on top of that 4 right mindfulness, 4 right efforts, now you are developing these 4 legs of miracle. First is the determination, which is in bracket faith, faith. You have so much faith in the 4 seals of Dharma because your mind is so closely placed in meditation on the nature of the 4 seals of Dharma. You're not going to sort of lose them at all because you have already done the beginner's path of accumulation, and then the mediocre's path of accumulation, now advanced path of accumulation. And so, therefore, when we talk about the first leg of miracles, this is largely to relate relative to those people who do meditation, particularly karma body meditation. In fact, our session tonight subject was how to overcome the obstacles, so here, when we talk about the devotion of faith, or the determination, the leg of determination and faith that you need, and that what impedes you from having this faith to fix your amputee problem is you have to fix those 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances of meditation is overcome by this faith, the faith. So these 5 obstacles 5 hindrances are laziness, forgetfulness of instructions, and then dullness and agitation counted as 1, and then non-application, and then over-application. These are the 5 hindrances for a person getting the amputee leg fixed. Now, when you are able to remedy these, because for instance, what is laziness? Laziness is not getting rid of negative karma, and not engaging in practicing virtue, and so on. So therefore it creates hindrance from oneself doing good, picking up, adopting virtues, dropping non-virtues, if one is lazy. Yeah. So therefore you need the determination to overcome that. So if you don't have any laziness, then you have the feet. Then you have the feet to advance on the to move to the advanced path of accumulation. And forgetfulness is not forgetting, is whatever has been instructed how to meditate, the word, the concept, the meanings, and so on. One shouldn't forget them and use the techniques accordingly. And then you remedy the forgetfulness with the mindfulness. Yeah. because forgetfulness doesn't allow you to enter into the meditation, because you forget how to and how many and how in what sequence and how long and so on. So one whose instructions on the meditation is very limited, or he forgets them, of course will not be able to do that. Will not be able to do that. And so the dullness is where the mind itself is not able to stay very focused, but instead is sinking somewhere low, and it is not really and not very wakefully able to fix the attention on the object of meditation. And agitation is the mind that become disrupted by many conceptual thoughts that your mind is not able to stay. So obstacles, whether it's dullness or agitation. Dullness, agitation counted as one, because they are counted as, if not the one, the other one will come. So they are almost alternating. If you're not agitated, you probably will be dull. If you're not dull, you probably will be agitated. And that's if you lack the introspection. So, because if both of these are occurring, your mind is not serviceable. Mind is not able to do. And so when both dullness and agitation do occur, and knowing that they have come when they have occurred, and then, but yet you are not ignoring them. You're ignoring them, so that's non-application. You know you are drawn, dull, you're drifting, but you don't care drifting, you just let it drifting continues. That's called non-application. So because of these two, when the mind is dull, or when the mind is agitated, the mind needs to actually make sure that this agitated state or dull mind are equally balanced, so that one doesn't allow one to take. So there's the over application is not allowed. So we bring the equanimity. So in this way, these 5 obstacles of meditation, namely the laziness, forgetfulness, dullness, agitation, non-application, over applications, are all conquered by these 4 legs of miracles. Starting with devotion as an example, because you're so devoted to do the practices, then you remedy these 5 obstacles with 8 antidotes, and so that your mind is, and therefore readily able to go with you. And because when you have the obstacles not overcome, the obstacle symptoms of the obstacles still persist. And when we say the miracles, is a miracle about the faith is that no matter how many of the bouts of the obstacles were to occur, you are not discourageable. You are not dentable. You are not demoralizable. You could not be demotivated, because your determination and faith, lack of faith, makes you to regain your sensibility and then bring those 5 antidotes, and therefore stay very, very present in your fitness to overcome the obstacles. So much so that the mindfulness, the antidote for forgetfulness is mindfulness. And antidote to the dullness and agitation is introspection, and then the antidote for non-application is application. The appropriate antidotes are applied, and then antidote for the over-application is equanimity. So these are the 8 antidotes. So remembering all of this carefully then enables you to bring your mind reasonably to take through the 9 stages of calm body meditation. 9 stages of calm body meditation really means different stages of learning to tame your mind. For instance, when you are fixing your attention, the first one is when you're fixing your mind on the objects of attention. So that means mind is gathered, means withdrawn from distractible objects, and then it is fixed on the object. So that's called for fixing your attention on the object of attention, because not letting the mind to wander off or going anywhere. Because you're collecting and gathering the mind from external excitement and so on, and not letting them to move or excite, and rather the mind itself is choosing to focus on one and very object, such as the breath, such as the mantra recitation, such as the visualization of the eyes and ears and so on, the right view and meditation on bodhicitta or whatever the case might be. You can see? So there is that degree of bringing your mind attention to the fixed object of meditation, focusing your mind, the first orientation of mind on the object of meditation. As a result of fixing your attention on the mind, there is a likelihood of depleting or losing your attention, and as soon as you realize your mind has drifted away or becoming sinking or whatever, you reiterate your effort, and then make sure that this doesn't fall off the rail, so to speak, and bringing back. So that's continually placing the mind back. What is enabling you to do this? Firstly, to fix the attention to one instead of all the external things. Secondly, notice that you have distracted when you have, and able to bring again to the object without demoralized by the distraction, is the second level of the joy, so the devotion of the practitioner's ability to overcome the obstacles. And so, having gone through focusing the chosen object of meditation on the chosen object of meditation by withdrawing from all object of attention, second is when it learns its gain some momentum to stay focused on the object, then the mind is slowly drifting away, and knowing as soon as they occur, and then again being able to repeat the effort to regain your ground, to focus back, repeating your focus back on the object of meditation, and so that the outer distraction does not take you away by its distraction, but the distraction instead has increased your ability to come back even more closely with the object of meditation than before. So that's the second one. And then the third one is, as a result of the distracting nature of the mind by form or sight or smell or whatever sort of things, some might be very pleasantly, very excitable objects, make this excitable object. So, and instead of letting those mind to be unruly or disturbed, agitated by them, one learns to slowly tame those mind, and being able to sort of not losing to the distractible, excitable object, but taming your mind. So you need all of these meditative concentration tools of the miraculous leg of joy, miraculous leg of sort of devotion and faith in the meditation, and never mind how many other sort of symptoms of obstacles the mind may manifest, that as soon as you see them, you don't get alarmed by the existence of the obstacles. You don't get a hostility towards them as a beginner might be. You instead become even more peaceful by recognition of the existence of the obstacle as much as the desired object of meditation. So meditator is at peace, even with the existence of the obstacle, and no less than he was already on the object of meditation. Why? He's able to pacify those very distractions because his mind is now yielding this sense of clarity. Even still there is a tendency, the mindfulness is depletable. Still, mind is depletable by any conceptual thoughts, and as soon as it arises, one becomes even more stronger to closely pacify. Previously already pacified, now you even closely pacify. Previously it took 2 minutes or something. Now you just allow in 1 minute or less. Depending how good you are. Previously, you drifted in 5 minutes, only realized you have lost the object. Now you can catch up in second minute, and then you regain. So this is a closer pacification. So you can see almost the meditator himself becomes very much a witness to his or her performance of the progress or lack thereof, and there is a miraculous ability and fitness that is not depletable by the obstacles. Yeah, you have to bear witness to that. So it's not that your attention is uninterruptible attention, but your attention has not only interruptible, but you are able to identify the interruption of your attention. Yeah, being able to identify the interruption of your effort does not deplete your morale, but you become even more fixed, more sharper with your attention to focus your meditation. So in this way, it goes through all the 9 stages of taming the mind until it reaches to have this great sense of one-pointedness. When the meditative concentration is very, very agreeable to your fixation of attention, to your fixing of the attention, it is actually going exactly as you like it to be. That's called equanimous calm abiding. So now the calm abiding is uninterruptible concentration. Before, it was hoping to be uninterrupted, but it was all interrupted all the time. And then you just thought, maybe I'm so interrupted, I got too many distractions. They thought meditation should only progress if there's no interruption. So then you learn to realize that no, you have to recognize the interruption and still remain calm. So recognition of the interruption, but still now it's learning to live with the interruptions. Live with interruption, as you have never been interrupted before you meditate. Now you learn to live with the interruption. Now you interrupt the interrupter. Next level, you interrupt the interrupter because you recognize them as nakedly as they occur, and maybe sharply and more punctually than you before. Now you're able to even surprise the interrupter by interrupting the interrupter. Why? You have the one-pointed concentration. And then there's a time that even the interruption has tired and exhausted. They don't know how to catch you anymore because they cannot overwhelm you anymore because the interruption don't exist from their own side. They're only symptom of your own internal agitation. When all the internal agitations are quelled, you have this equanimous ability to stay focused. So in this way, this kind of introspection is the antidote to the distraction. All the interruptions are good. Incredible, really. You realize when you're counting the breath or something, you're interrupted by, you haven't lost the count. You're delighted by not the loss of the count. You're interrupted by the interrupter actually sharpen your count, Thank you, mate. Thank you for helping me. So you're enhancing interrupters are enhancing your concentration. So this will make the meditator be gentle with himself. Oh, my meditation all place. I can't meditate. Please go away. You can go in the middle of a busy street in Delhi and meditate. Still, your meditation is completely uninterrupted. You're not always seeking the quiet home, suburban home in Tasmania and think that's the place to meditate. All these miserable people who doesn't know how to meditate, always seeking forests and quiet places as if their mind is so quiet when others are not distracting. The real meditators are meditators interrupting the interrupter. And that is the leg of miracle. lake of miracle, through concentration, the mind has so much faith in knowing the use of realization, impermanence, no self, unsatisfactoriness, and all of that within the meditation, all the right effort, and all these 4 feet of mindfulness, 4 feet of miraculous legs. Incredible level of equanimity when your mind is at your disposal. This introspection, which also will slowly boost. It looks like you're doing karma abiding, but you have this kind of taste of insight in the back happening, almost like, simultaneously. Your insight is not some kind of something you reach at the finishing line. While doing karma abiding, you already have this insight of impermanence of impermanent things, no self of no self, and suffering of suffering. And as a result of this, you can see this glimpsing of the wisdom, almost like precursor of realizing insight meditation through your introspective meditation or whatever you are doing. All phenomena, from the matter to consciousness, are all within the reach of your mind, my close place of mindfulness. All phenomena, from matter to consciousness, from mountains to empires, all of them are impermanent. You will see it with such a precision. You don't need someone to convert you that into everything is lack of inherent existence, because they don't. You're seeing for what they are with your naked awareness. And then you have this immense, incredible burst of compassion for the helpless sentient beings who haven't got a clue of any of this. So then you have the miraculous increase of your faith in Dharma, and then suffering of sentient beings become cause of your compassion. You have faith that suffering of sentient beings will arouse your compassion, and suffering of sentient beings is the one that we have to work with most, not escape and run away from them. So this is the what we call the faith in the Dharma, faith in how true the 4 seals of Dharma is, and therefore and unintimidated by sentient beings with problem and their sufferings, because you know the prevalence of suffering is universal. And then you have the miracle of still have the faith in the Dharma and not losing humanity. Your faith never falters, miraculously, until people who reach this advanced path of accumulation, their faith will be like a flag, always falling off, flapping this way when the wind blows. You can see, because their faith will be completely vulnerable, because they don't have anything to hold it. They haven't got the faith. They haven't got the real faith. So you can almost sympathize when people don't have faith in Dharma, or losing faith if they thought they had, because they think that Buddhism should be practiced without faith, without beliefs. Incredible. We can't demand people to have faith in Dharma. They have to experience the veracity of how true the Dharma is with their own naked eyes, to know for themselves that how true the true is. That is the faith we are talking about. Faith validated by the experience that they really discovered now the lake. Now that we don't have an amputee here, now we have the person who is already hopping with one leg. He knows he'll get another 3 very easily now. Because his faith in the 4 seals of Dharma, he's not talking about faith in people or institution here. Faith in the 4 seals of Dharma. 4 closely placement of mindfulness, which are the 4 foundation mindfulness we talked in the first lesson. Now their faith in knowing how true they are is so clear that they have a leg to stand. They have now become 25% Buddhist. Mahayana, of course, already not quite. Of course, an advanced path of accumulation is very, very Buddhist, but Buddhist without realization of this is still amputees. Still amputees trying to roll here and there on the floor to get few meters ahead. So cute. So you can always feel why they are struggling, because they have no leg to stand on. How can they reach any ground? Poor thing. Because they haven't really meditated. They are reciting some mantras, they're doing some this or that, but they haven't got a conceptual understanding of the four seals of Dharma, the four closely placed mindfulness at all. They were meditating, watching the sensation on the tip of nostrils or something. And they're observing silent or something. But they still actually have no comprehension of the actual four seals of Dharma. No wonder why they're still rolling on the floor. So in this way, when the practitioner has fittingly overcome the laziness with faith, diligence, and determination and pliancy, then he has a very strong leg of miracle. And the leg of miracle means now he has a great sense of diligence, because because desire, the aspiration to work for the benefit of other sentient beings, are now more vigilant. And the faith is the definition of believing. Now this faith is not blind faith, but believing and trusting and knowing how true it is. And that's what gives them the pliancy. The body is very pliant, so is the mind very pliant, very serviceable. You say, yes, your body and mind are completely in harmony to be able to do. Therefore, you can efficaciously overcome laziness. And because of that, the diligence is the space. And when you look at these four antidotes to laziness, the diligence is the place of devotion of faith, and then the container is the devotion or the faith, and content is the diligence, and desiring, the aspiration, is activity of the faith, and because you have the activity, the sign of the activity is this aspiration of faith, as aspiration of faith, and then when you have the believing aspect of it, believing and trusting and believing of the teaching, then it completely gives you the leg of miracles. And when these facets are developing in you, then you will have this pliancy. And because pliancy is this amazing energy, positive energy surges in you, your body becomes serviceable, and because it heat to the mind. Now mind is completely able to persuade the body to have this amazing sense of energy that does not deplete by doing, but actually get replenished by doing. Because of that, the pliancy is sign of lack of laziness. Now, this miraculous leg of miracle of faith. If we look at in relation to the Four Noble Truths, it says that with the miraculous leg of faith in the four seals of Dharma, then the person is closely meditating on the Four Noble Truths. How? Because the person is slowly increasing his fondness to solitude, quietness, aloneness, and decreasing of his craving and desire, companion, conversation, food, all the social enjoyment. He is not craving for any of this. So because that is the sign of realizing the truth of the suffering. He does not want to do the suffering because he knows the truth of suffering. Because he knows that all the objects and subjects and companions and activities are only cause of for more suffering. He is able to renounce them. He therefore is fond of solitude and lack of companions. And lack of companion is happiness of freedom, and solitude is freedom from other people's interferences. So everything becomes convenient, conducive cause for your meditation. It does not become an inconvenience for your life. So people becomes mainly fond of solitude. Because he knows he does less suffering, the more he is able to resort to those 32 places in Theravada. Vishuddhimagga lists about 32 qualities of a solitude, You actually, the more you resort to solitude, the more less you are doing suffering, and therefore you are more enticed and like and relish solitude. That's the how the miraculous leg of devotion to the faith in that practice and tackles with the first noble truth. Second noble truth, the truth of origin is the sufferings. Yeah, truth of origin is such desire and craving, and he knows the desire itself, craving itself, the objects. The more he is able to be out of sight, out of sort of nearness of the object, that much he is free from those objectivity, and therefore this ability to have a distancing from this object actually renounce the very true origin of suffering. Yeah, true origin of suffering. So this is now we are intersecting the Four Noble Truths with the legs of miracle of faith. Yeah, and then truth of cessation is, as a result of this, there is very little complaint, nothing to suffer. There's a cessation of your sorrows or longing for this, wanting that, missing things. All of those is thank goodness does not occur in your mind, because you have the bliss of cessation of sorrow. Because the truth of cessation. Why? Your leg of miracle of faith is boosting your ability to have bliss instead of sorrow, which you have caused to cessation, cause of cessation. Because the object of suffering is not entertained by the subject, and therefore cessation. There is the truth of cessation. And then truth of the path is that one has already yielded the benefit of being on the path. By being on the path, only that you can yield the bliss. People who are in retreat, who are really doing the retreat, they are not miserable. They are actually in bliss. They're not eating, they're eating less. They're not enticing any of the sense organs or sense objects. They're just living on a bare minimum necessity, but they are actually more blissful looking. Why? Because they are following the truth of the path, which has already yielded the benefit of truth of cessation. So you can see how the leg of miracle of faith in the Four Noble Truths and for closely placed mindfulness, for right effort, builds this first of the four legs. And that meditation itself, not just merely being in physical solitude, but mind itself is completely devoid of distractions. Why? It overcame all those 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances are only overcome if you have the miraculous leg of the faith in the 8 antidotes and their implementation. When you have effectively applied these 8 antidotes against the 5 hindrances, that's the reason why your meditative concentration has found a new feet of the new leg of, if you like, of the faith that completely lifts your faith in the Buddha, the Dharma, and of course the 4 C's of Dharma is incredible level of path of advanced accumulation. No wonder why it's called miraculous leg of faith. So, you can see all these amputees who have no faith, who doesn't want to have faith, who doesn't want to practice Buddhism with faith and beliefs and so on. You can see all these amputees. Practice of Dharma requires to reach certain level when the faith becomes a realization, not as a prerequisite to enter the Dharma. It's never has teaching said you have to have faith to come to me type of thing. No. They say, "Oh, are you sure? Are you sure?" You know. We always give people and make sure that they really know what they're doing. You know. Now the second, the second miraculous leg is a miraculous leg of the diligence, which is very much the synthesis of what we discussed. Now, what the diligence is about is the diligence is now in overcoming the 5 obstacles. Because you have now a lot of devotion and faith, now you have the diligence that actually is the, remember, diligence is the place, and that diligence is the place which produce the faith, and vice versa. So one helps another. Now your lack of diligence level, your energy level of your practice, is truly devoid of the 5 hindrances, but fully equipped with 8 antidotes. Why? Because you will see yourself becoming very good at culling your negative karmas, the existing past negative karma. You're putting lots of right effort to cull them, all non-virtues that previously didn't exist in your behavior. You will never pick up a new one because you're able to use your faith, leg of faith, that you can. You're not discouraged by your past or by companions or like others. You have this amazing sense of ability practice self-restraint. And those existing lingering negative habits you are putting them, minimizing them. You are actually scaling them down by week or day by day or amount by amount by your meticulous discipline of study, meditation, practice, and joy in applying all the previous factors of enlightenment. Because you can see you are much more punctual, you're much more timely, you're much more effective, incredible, if you were to look at your own hour, or sometimes you can see sometimes you're so productive. Within 2 hours you can do, like I could do a translation of maybe 5 pages. Ooh, it's like a steam engine. And other times, oh gosh, 3 hours, still half a page, not happening. They're like that, So we're talking about how can we make sure what is the time when you perform best. How is the things that you need to do, make sure this is... So you become very, very disciplined in managing your time and effort, when is when, how much is how much, so that your energy is not depleted, but instead replenished. So that you have this miraculous leg of diligence. You do with such a willingness, such a speed and accuracy. This is talking about, not trying to impress other people. We're talking about the lightness and joyfulness in which you are doing. We're talking about here joyous, miraculous leg of joyfulness. Incredible hard to earn the joyfulness. Joy in what you do, what you have, or even what you don't have. Incredible joy comes when you're on the advanced path of accumulation with the miraculous leg of joyfulness. Sure, you can see the sorrows and miseries of sentient beings that really overwhelms you in one level, but on another level, you still have the remedy how not to overwhelm yourself by that suffering. And therefore, you still see that I, for some reason, have the opportunity to practice in spite of all these impurities around me. I can still hop around and and help few people to discover a new leg here and there. And so you instead of being discouraged or overwhelmed by the sufferings of those people around, but one is still have this miraculous leg of joyfulness. And this joy is not some you are better than others or what like that. That you just realize through your meditative concentration. Somehow you have this incredible adrenaline of joyfulness, of precious humility, joy to have met the Buddha, the Dharma, the joy that you actually understand the teachings, and it's really showing you so much that you are actually heeding to it, and you are really seeing it, and you get it. And this has taken so long time to get here, and now you are really joyfulness is busting. It's almost like kind of boosting your whole sensibility. This is what we talk about, miraculous leg of joyfulness. This is not talking about increasing your income from 5 digit to 6, and this is not that kind of joy. Okay, that kind of very careful. This is materialism. Joy is very future cause of self-imprisonment, if not already in it. If not already in the prison now, it's sooner or later it's not going to be really cause. So this is talking about the joyfulness of renunciation, non-attachment, lack of resentment, and lack of guilt, and lack of judgment to others. We are talking about joyfulness of the incredible flavor of meditation through study, through contemplation, that your joy of a leg that you discover is incredible, a kind of a feat, kind of accomplishment. And this comes from your management of your time and space, what you do, how much you give, and how much you don't want anything back from them, you know. Previously, you give something, but you still have the neediness to be complimented, and it's their turn to reward me. That kind of, you have to wait for them to give their turn, that kind of miserable wait. Now there isn't slightest neediness. Incredible. The slightest neediness to be complimented or to be loved or to be cherished or to be given gifts to you. Not that kind of needy person. One who is completely, comprehensively, adequately joyful for what he doesn't need to want. His want is almost minimized. His need is so little, his joy is so overwhelmingly good. You know, he has no need. He doesn't have the sense of wanting. Why? Because he's discovered the leg of miracle of joyfulness. You know? We're not talking about getting some material things, promotion, and these sort of material things that people want for the happy birthday to you. They give you something, and you think you're happy type of thing. Of course, we have to act as though we are happy because we are living in this kind of public relations society. Good, they gave you a box that is really glittering covered paper, but inside is nothing. It's really good gift for you. Yeah, maybe that kind of gift is really necessary next time. This is so that you realize this gift is so much a good teaching, and how to realize emptiness. So we're talking about miraculous leg of joyfulness. And of course your level of gratitude towards people like your mother, your Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, every single one is, your gratitude and joyful level is increasing. You can almost feel that something is really shifting. It will completely bust some of the physical pathological disorders. If you really reach this path of accumulation, advanced path of accumulation, joyous miraculous leg of joyfulness, who said you couldn't be healed by meditation? We are talking about miraculous leg of having many contaminated miraculous abilities. It later on talks about many actual abilities, supernatural abilities. But this is pretty supernatural, really. If you discover this kind of shift in you, the joy of lack of laziness, joy of lack of meanness, joy of lack of resentment, joy of increasement of devotion in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. And this is the meditative, miraculous leg of meditative concentration. Why you're not meditating also you have this. While not in meditation you can have this joyful, joyous leg of miracle. You can see a lot of people are incredibly grateful to the Dharma. You can see they have this joy. But maybe their form of meditation is not adequate enough to boost that level of unlosable joy of miraculous leg. Maybe they come and go because they're not quite on the path of accumulation yet. They still have a little bit of joy in a lesser path of accumulation and a middle path of accumulation, maybe. They still have similar certain facets of these things. But in the advanced path of accumulation, you definitely reach these miraculous leg of joyfulness. The joy comes from faith in the valid object of teachings, in the valid teachings of the four seals of Dharma. This is not faith in some Tara appearing in your door and giving you a flower or something like that, or telling you don't go to Tibet or stay in Bengal or something like that. We're not talking about some mysterious stuff here. We're talking about practical shifts in your psychological, emotional behavior. And the joy of the losing your hatred, losing your anger, losing your attachment, and losing your resentment. These are miraculous. Joy is completely replacing the sadness that comes from selfishness, not realizing impermanence as impermanent, not realizing suffering as suffering, not realizing impure as impure. All of those are now thing of the past, because this is why the joy comes to you, because you have realized the continuous diligence, effortless effort, one-pointed kind of what they call, like, as if you're wearing the armor like diligence, insatiable diligence. All the diligence they talk about in other teachings is just a superficial, really, conceptual teachings in the six paramita teachings, until your meditative concentration boosts you to have the leg of joyfulness. Those people who are on the advanced path of accumulation is very few. You can't get to path of preparation until you have path of accumulation, the advanced path of accumulation. The incredible devotion, incredible joyfulness has to be the currency of the person. This is how the person operates. Now the third is the miraculous leg of of meditative concentration. The actual meditative concentration itself, yeah? That is completely devoid of those hindrances. Yeah? Those hindrances are not there because you are employing all the antidotes very clearly. Because of that, the seed of former lives' meditative concentration, no doubt, has now germinated. Remember, you could not reach this level in this life unless you have had reserve of merit in one former lives or many former lives. So now you are seeing, oh gosh, I've been working at least quite a while. I'm now actually seeing the germination of this in this practice. So you actually have this incredible belief in the past lives, and maybe even glimpsing what some of the past lives were. Because you actually could recall. There were many practitioners who could recall their past 25 lives or more, like Sakya Pandita could remember all his 25 past lives. And he counted every name, every individual, who they were, who he was, so. Why? Because he could see where he is now is a continuity of the inheritance of the practice of meditative concentration they did, and it has completely unwastingly has continued to in readiness to be matured at this level. And you have such faith now that this is not some you are genius in this life, or you are this because no. They have been much more than these lives you have been working. And you have strong tradition of in the Dharma so many lives. And this is the miraculous leg of meditative concentration that can almost interpret the one's personal meditative experience being the dint of many past lives, seed of past life meditative concentration. Amazing humility, humbleness. And then realize by meditating in this life that today's meditation is influenced by yesterday's meditation. Yesterday's meditation was 2 weeks before. 2 weeks was 3 weeks before. 3 weeks was 5 years ago. 5 years ago is 20 years ago. And 20 years ago is 40 years ago. And then before that is past life. Of course, you can't have a past life without this. Everything is former. Why can't you have a former life? You have no need to even question. You can tell. If there is Saturday, there definitely was Friday. You can't say, no, I'm not believing in Friday, I only believe Saturday. And this is all what I can see. You can automatically see the existence of Friday and Thursday and all those things. And so you have this incredible, you can play back, if you like. Almost you can play back without playing back, That is the good. You can play back all the good. That your meditation, discipline, faith, devotion, joyfulness, refuge in the Triple Gem was not just thing of this life alone. This is the miraculous leg of meditative concentration that can almost enable you to inferentially establish that you have meditated in past lives. So this present meditation has simply boosted what one did in the past. So because of the seed of the past has been nurtured, and now there is this amazing concentration that is making you to conquer your mind at your will. And you're amazed by this miracle of knowing your mind. This is the miraculous leg of meditative concentration that now knows the mind, that it is by nature like this all along. When it is not obscured conditionally, its intrinsic nature has always been luminous, clear, selfless, boundless, individual, and Dharmakaya. You can see that. And then the fourth leg of miracle is analysis. It's called miraculous leg of analysis. Now the analysis, the meditative concentration, because these are listed one after another, due to the meditative concentration, now you're able to analyze, rationalize everything carefully, so much so that that every single meditative concentration has discarded that should be discarded, that you didn't know previously, you're collecting them. Through the meditative concentration, it has empowered you to discard the discardable and adopt what that you should have adopted a long time ago. So basically, meditative concentration has greatly boosted your analytical hypothesis of everything. You realize how accurately meditative concentration is boosting your rational mind. All the things, from matter to consciousness, everything that is taught and shown, their definition, there's all of them without any doubt or criticism, you can understand the relative nature as well as the ultimate nature. This meditative concentration of analysis is that every single object of meditation is dismantleable to dust and partless particles. Analysis means like that. You just break them into all pieces and then try to see the monolithic thing in the thing. There's not even the thing. To search the thing in the thing, no thing. By the time you take every part, the thing itself is gone. The table is not there, chair is not there. You end up with lots of nails and hinges and pieces of timbers and plastic and all of that. There is no table. So you just use this analytical mind of every object, let alone not just the material object, even say emotional, karmic. All things are completely not there. Do not truly exist. See, now you are glimpsing emptiness, conceptually at least, because your meditative concentration, miraculous leg of meditative concentration. All of these miraculous legs are meditative. Miraculous leg of meditative concentration of analysis. Being able to basically deconstruct everything. Like we were reading Heart Sutra. We don't just not read them, but we should help. Should help us to deconstruct your problem that you think it's you, or that is yours, or that's what he's doing is to me, or whatever it is. All the people are suffering. All these amputees are suffering because they don't have any analytical power. They don't have any brain at all. Maybe not even the size of a chicken. If they have any brain power, they should use to how to analyze, how to rationalize what a thing is. Did the thing exist from its own side, or it was made up from no things? It's very good to see the connection of dependent arisings. Whether outer or inner or secret or everything is. Being able to see that very clearly, your meditative concentration, then see all things, all phenomena. When it says all things are emptiness, in the fourth seal of Dharma, all things are impermanent. There's no self, Now you can see through analytical mind, through the meditative concentration, through the miraculous leg of meditative concentration analysis, you can actually see that. Now with this, these are the four legs of miracle. They are definitely realization of the advanced path of accumulation. Now there are 5 facets in each of these 37 factors of enlightenment. I haven't elaborated them in the format too, so tonight's explanation should be applied. And these 5 are, for each of the factors of enlightenment has an object, nature, accompaniment, meditation, and result. For instance, here, by doing the 4 legs of miracle meditation, the objective of the legs of miracle is meditation, meditative concentration itself. Meditative concentration is, in relation to meditative concentration, you need to see how much of the faith is to your meditative concentration. Yeah? How much faith is there in your joyfulness? And so on. So that's the objectiveness, the object. Because when you comprehensively complete the meditative concentration as object of the 4 legs of miracles, then you can see the functional, miraculous ability are clairvoyance, clairaudience, and actually the person who reaches this advanced path of accumulation do achieve contaminate clairvoyance. They could actually see things that others couldn't. They can actually hear things that is very, very far. They actually will gain the actual miraculous abilities, as it is named after miraculous abilities. So that's the object. Second is nature. The nature is, you have to see what is the nature of, for instance, faith of the miraculous ability. Faith in the nature of the miraculous leg of faith. Miraculous leg of faith is in the four seals of Dharma. No? So you have your faith is completely in the 4 seals of Dharma. You never lose it. You will never part from it. It becomes your birthright, so to speak. Your joy comes from because of realizing, because of faith in the trueness of the 4 seals of Dharma. That's the nature of miraculous leg of devotion or faith. Likewise, you can see the nature of miraculous leg of joyfulness is the joyfulness that you are able to realize all the above and not have illness, not have ill will, and so on and so forth. So you can basically, the nature are the actually definition of each of them, which we have discovered already. Then the third is the accompaniment. Accompaniment is like the 4 legs of miracle has a companion. If you actually have the miracle leg of joyfulness, you have the miraculous joyfulness accompanied by absence of attachment to food or clothing, companions, all the worldly activities and business. You have this amazing freedom from attachment. So freedom from attachment to household, families, jobs, young ones, old ones, things you do, you never miss them. You have this accompaniment of non-attachment and non-hatred. You have no ill will towards them at all. Why? Your joy, your devotion is completely overcome the antithesis. So whatever is the overcome, you are accompanied by the antidote. Your companion is the antidote of all the afflictions. Attachment, non-attachment. Hatred, non-hatred. Ignorance, non-ignorance. Yeah? Jealousy, non-jealousy. So what is non-jealousy of jealousy? Is rejoicing. What is non-attachment and attachment? Freedom from desire, craving. What is ignorance of ignorance is that you know everything's interdependent, originated, everything's merely imputed. So these accompaniment of realizations, accompaniment of realizations. So you have a possession, you have a new possession. Without any possession, you are full of it. You just need alms bowl. That's it. Even that, even that you can use banana leaves if you don't have an alms bowl. That kind of contentment with small things. You see, you're accompanied. You're like Kunda Rinpoche. He says he doesn't need anything. He's got bodhicitta. he's always happy that he's got bodhicitta, so he doesn't have to need anything. He's accompanied by his joy, his diligence, his faith, his meditation, his analysis, all the teachings. All the opposite are culled, and all the antidotes are realized. That's the accompaniment. Now, if you were to look at that in relation to any of the four closely placement of mindfulness, you will be able to interpret now. So use these five to go and regurgitate your understanding of the four closely placement of mindfulness, and what are the object? What is the object? Yeah, what is the nature? What is the accompaniment of each of them? And fourth is the meditation. The subject, the actual meditation. Yeah. In this particular case of the four legs of miracles, the meditation is to become familiar and accomplish the 8 antidotes. So your task of meditation in doing this miraculous leg of faith, joyfulness, meditation, and analysis is that you have none of the 5 hindrances impeding you, because you've completely accomplished and you're familiarized with the 8 antidotes. Then the 5th one is the result. The result is gaining exactly what you've been seeking, what therefore each of the 4 closely placement mindfulness, or for renunciation, for right effort, and for legs of miracle, you actually have the result. You have those legs. Now you're no longer amputee. You got 4 legs. You thought first when you're sitting, you thought you were going to lose a leg. You can't get up, didn't you? Now you realize even without those legs, you are hopping and flying everywhere. you are completely you have achieved the fruition of the meditation. This is, of course, we are referring to for those who are on the advanced path of accumulation. Advanced path of accumulation, the result is they have all these 4 legs of miraculous abilities, of incredible faith in the teachings, particularly the 4 C's of Dharma, and comprehending the 4 noble truths. Yeah. And amazing joyfulness, amazing joyfulness of not being discouraged by suffering of sentient beings, by sentient beings, flawed sentient beings, and the problems that they have. You are never going to be discouraged by people who have so many problems. Every time you see unruly sentient beings, your kindness and your joyfulness to serve them is never impeded. That is the result of one who is on the path of accumulation. Advanced path of accumulation. not just on path of accumulation. The advanced path of accumulation, Yeah, man, when you are practicing well, you will tell that your mind is really, really hopping, hopping those newly found legs, and covering all those ground that you never thought was possible to ground, and you will see, you will bear the truth, you will see the truth, you will see the result of the miraculous leg, because when now you have leg, you can now cover so much ground. When we even enlightenment, we talk about grounds and stages, First bhumi, second bhumi. This is a different ground that you hold from the lowest step to the first step to second. That's how you're slowly graduating from one to another. So the absence of sadness, absence of laziness has to be the result. Absence of poor me, I can't do anything, I'm not good enough. You wouldn't be thinking like that. And even somebody's really, really pathetically slow and has really been slow and wasn't really diligent, still you will talk to them encouragingly. You will never criticize them, never put them down, saying, I can't work with people like you, you're so you're still stuck there, are you, type of thing. You never say that. You still encouragingly talk to them, joyfully. You're able to inspire and encourage them like no other person. Why? You are on the path of accumulation, whose result is meditative concentration, lack of joyfulness. You're able to still inspire and delight other people. When we talk about the result of each of the path of accumulation, each of the 37 factors of enlightenment. So these 5, which I mentioned, the object, the nature, the accompaniment, the actual meditation, and result of the meditation, are to be dittoed with every one of the 7 groups, not just this group. Because in the teachings, once you know one, then you know how to put in the structure. You put in the structure. Last week we talked about 20 impediments. 20 impediments from being able to have the right effort. So that if all of those 20 impediments will be overcome as a result of it. And in this advanced path of accumulation, all the 5 impediments, laziness and so forth, will be overcome with 8 antidotes, and therefore you will see the result of those on the path of advanced path of accumulation by practicing 4 legs of miracles will be exactly that. So these teachings on the 37 factors of enlightenment is not something that doesn't exist, Tibetan Buddhist scholarship is heavily biased to half a dozen Indian scholars and their writings, without bothering to actually read the Kangyur and Tengyur. Can you put the camera on the text there? Camera on our collection of Kangyur there? These are the text. That camera. Well, all those books, all those books. Out of these books, all those books over there are commentaries, but these are the root texts, And in these texts, we see this incredible volume called miscellaneous volume, by the way. No wonder most scholars couldn't find them. Who want to look at the miscellaneous volumes? Such detail on the 37 factors are listed. But I heard, without naming the scholar these days, he said, he gave a talk on this subject too sometime. He said he haven't seen actually any text that is comprehensively covered this topic. He says they are here and they are listed and mentioned in the writings of Nagarjuna and Aryadeva or Sanga or something. But so when he lists all this because these are just only small 5 volumes they studied, and they only talk about what's in them, and because they never looked in the ocean of the actual volume of Mahayana Sutras, and you wouldn't believe. 30 years ago, when I was start teaching karma abiding, I was looking very hard. And those days we didn't have those easy to read those books because the index and all. Those days, all the books were in these forms. There's those pecha forms. We have the other side. Those pecha forms are very difficult to find. You have to read every folio to know what. Even that days, you wouldn't know where a chapter begins. Then I discovered this volume under the title of Miscellaneous. And there I found incredible detail on these very topics. And the 37 factors of enlightenment is about have more than 37 folios, I tell you that. So I have gone through tonight specifically because among all the writings on the topics in the text, this topic is most brief. So therefore, I was able to use it fairly closely, mindfully, place attach concentration on the text. But usually I tend to talk from the off the text and whatever I think they are, in spite of whatever preparation reading I did. So, therefore, Buddha said, the 4 legs of miracles, all bhikkhus, all bhikkhus are like a person who has no legs are now given legs to travel, and they will cover grounds and reach places that they have never covered or never reached. They will see things they never seen before, because they're able to see the 4 noble truths or the 4 C's of Dharma, not through conceptual teaching, or they themselves through meditation. So one has to do the meditation. Tonight's subject is all about doing karma body meditation and using the 8 antidotes to remedy the 5 hindrances, and gradually make progress to achieve those levels until you have one pointed concentration, absence of any symptoms of the 5 hindrances. And the advanced path of accumulation practitioner definitely has to be that level. It doesn't mean when you do karma abiding, you just watch the breath and do nothing. You could be doing that while you're doing deity yoga, while meditating on bodhicitta, while doing refuge, while doing Avalokiteshvara mantra. You could still, outer object of meditation might be mantra or deity yoga or just simple karma by meditation. But you need to bring your level of joy and faith as an incredible boost that enhances your fitness to have a concentration that actually is free of the 5 hindrances, like laziness, forgetfulness, dullness, agitation, non-application, over-application. Why? You are meticulously applying the 8 antidotes, so much so that you have the feet of miracles to be filled with the faith and diligence, joyous effort, and actual meditative concentration, and therefore analysis. So there is no surprise to see the emptiness of anything, particularly when they turn out to be empty. Most people don't want to dismantle them prematurely. They can't even accept them when they actually turn out to be empty. But all this advanced path of accumulation mind and meditators, they just can't wait to dismantle everything. Can't wait to dismantle everything, and it's such a relief to have no attachment, such a relief to have no commitment, such a relief to have complete distance. No fear of longing and losing or missing anything. Very good. Joy of renunciation, it's called. You're complete. Why should renunciation is advocated? Renunciation is not a miserable party. Renunciation is joyful freedom. It's not negligence of responsibility, okay? I'm not talking about negligence of responsibility. When Buddha gave up his home, he was not neglecting his royal duties. He actually reclaimed the real royal duty. He became the king of kings. He is the immortal king of Dharma. So he never neglected his royal duty. He actually fulfilled the royal duty like no other royal families or patron, ancestor that his father had. His father couldn't believe what his son has actually given to everyone, including him. But first, he and Yashodhara was the two mostly misunderstood the Buddha. They thought he was irresponsible. He didn't care for them. He upset them. All of that. But Buddha did not do the miserable parting. He did this joyous freedom of renunciation. Joyous freedom of renunciation. And the faith in what he was doing was not just for him, not just for now, not just for this life, faith that this will be incredibly good in the long run in the future. I mean, that is what we're talking about here. I mean, how much far-sighted vision that he must have had then to be able to unintimidatingly be able to do that. That's because his insight was so advanced and realized. You can see that. So therefore, learn to have the freedom. Learn to have the result of the miraculous path of miraculous leg of advanced path of accumulation in relation to how much joy and devotion and meditation and analytical mind that we have. And only way we can do this is acquainting ourselves in this body of teachings and becoming acquainting to them, and then try to boost our mind to predispose in this way. Thank you, everyone. Let's do the dedication merits from of the merit from the listening and contemplating and stop being an amputee. Begas de lavas to the Mahayana Jija Courage Manju Shinyode Azama Davada de Laiva following over the Zamba Aja de Dege O de Mere Medezele Bodh Gaya Tebe Verena Yedanzo has been Bomeding Relevedad General. Thank you, everyone.